Good afternoon, guys. Next video in the Woodsman ways, I'm going to talk about foraging, obviously by the title. I left this video, or this topic actually, out of my last Woodsman ways video on staple skills. I did that for a reason. We're going to talk about that today. But a lot of comments, a lot of people emailing me, private messages, the whole 9 yards on that, you know, kind of giving me the devil. Oh, hey Saj, you didn't even talk about foraging. And like I said, I did that for a reason. And just to recap on all the videos in this particular series, basically covers, you know, the ways that I personally think about things, you know, some of the reasons and the ways I do things. And that doesn't mean that you guys have to agree with them, you know. This is my own personal thoughts, beliefs, or whatever you want to call it. So, you know, if you disagree, hey, that's fine, you know. Everybody's got their own way of doing things. So I'm going to throw in some clips here in a new area today. First time here, never been here. So I took, I don't know, 15-20 minute walk around with the wife and the little guy, just checking some things out. That's where all these clips are going to come from. So bear in mind, you know, when you talk about foraging, there's actually a couple different methods, I guess you could call it, to foraging in the first place. Just harvesting wild edibles isn't the only type of foraging, obviously. That's what I'm going to show you clips of, you know, some wild edibles that I found along my scout with the wife and kid. Obviously, there's hundreds of plants, I mean hundreds, that you can eat. You know, I have quite a good library at home on, you know, wild edible plants and medicinal plants and stuff like that. And to be totally upfront and honest with you guys, like always, it's one of my lacking areas, if you will. I mean, I know plants well enough to where I can come out and eat them. I don't need to keep referring to a book or anything like that. But they're common plants, and that's a pretty key thing to foraging, you know, wild edibles anyway. Is you have to know what you're looking for and be able to identify these plants properly before you eat them. Some plants have poisonous lookalikes. That's a key factor to me, in that I don't even want to mess with those, you know. A lot of stuff that I've learned throughout the years have been through Dave Canterbury in the Pathfinder School. He had some, you know, pretty common sense type concepts on the wild edible thing, and I tend to stick with those because they make sense to me, you know. So if a plant has another plant that's a poisonous lookalike, ain't even messing with that thing. Me personally, I want nothing to do with it, you know. I'm not going to take a chance of getting sick, you know, when I'm out, or possibly dying. So I just leave that stuff alone. So you can find, you know, common plants that are available all over the world, really. You know, your plantains, dandelions, clover, stuff like that tend to grow in a lot of different areas. So, you know, those are three of the main common ones anyway. And again, I'll throw some clips in here to show you guys some of the stuff I came across today. But there's hundreds of plants. Now, my problem with wild edibles in general is, for one, they're seasonal. Plants are seasonal. So if you're not in the season, you know, if I'm in the winter time and I'm stuck out here and I need food to eat, wild edibles isn't even going to be on the agenda. Yeah, there may be a couple that, you know, you can scrounge around and they're still around, but, you know, 99% of the time it's seasonal and those plants ain't around for you. So that's one of the problems I have with them, you know, aside of, you know, there being poisonous lookalikes and things of that nature. Another thing that I think about, I mean, I live in the Northeast, so resources are very abundant. I didn't come across a lot of wild edibles out here, but in my Taunton area where I teach classes, you know, they're very plentiful. Wild blueberries, raspberries, wild strawberries, you know, autumn olive trees, wild grapes. I mean, there's just a ton of resources. But again, all that stuff is seasonal, and I don't like to share all that stuff with you guys and make you think that, hey, it's so easy to come out here and just harvest this stuff, keep my belly full, when you may be in an area that has none of that stuff. So that's another thing that I at least consider, you know, for you guys and in my thought process on foraging wild edibles. The last thing, and probably one of the most important, aside of, you know, the poisonous stuff and taking a chance on hurting yourself, is what do a lot of these plants actually do for you? You know, how do they benefit you nutritionally? And the answer is they really don't. You know, yeah, all the wild berries, you know, they're good. You can make juices out of them and stuff like that. But the more of that sugary stuff you eat, the more you have to up your water intake. So, you know, you got to at least know that, keep that in mind. And if you're eating these things, you know, enough of it that's going to make a difference to your stomach, you need to be taking in the water. You know, yes, I can go get cattail and get some starches out of that, you know, and that's fine and well. I can get, you know, a bunch of acorns together and make some flour. That'll be pretty thick and heavy on the stomach, might fill you up, you know, bake a bread or something like that. But for the most part, all of these plants really ain't doing anything for you nutritionally. So why do I even want to waste my time doing that? So generally speaking, for me, if the plant is in season, easy accessible, yeah, I'll go pick some berries, you know, and I'll throw them down. Nothing too significant that I'm going to make myself sick, but you know, I'll eat that stuff on the fly. But as far as feeding myself, if I was in some type of situation, you know, emergency situation, survival situation, whatever you want to call that, wild edibles is the last thing on my mind. It's, you know, hunting, fishing, trapping, all the things we talked about in the last video there on staple skills. You know, if you come across wild edibles and you can gather them, like I'm saying, at best, you know, it's roughage to me. So it'd be the last thing that I think about. So with all that said, and without rambling on here and, you know, ranting and raving about it, I'm going to throw in some clips for you guys to see. Like I said, just a 15-20 minute walk around a new area with my family, show you some of the things I come across that are edible. Alright guys, so like I said, you know, just a handful of wild edibles that I found out here. Again, obviously there's hundreds of wild edibles out there as far as plants, berries, nuts, stuff like that you can eat. I don't have them all right here at my disposal to shoot on film for you, but like I said, in my Taunton area, tons of resources out there where we hold classes, so that's good for that. But that's it. I just wanted to come back with this video. As like I said, there's a lot of comments. I got a lot of PMs about it. You know, I left it out, and I did so on purpose for all the reasons we just talked about. So in the next video to come, I'm going to show you another aspect of foraging, because it's not just wild edible plants. There's other things that are out there that can be foraged, easily picked up, you know, again, if you're in a certain area though. So I'm going to leave that at that. You know, hope to see you guys on that next video, show you a little bit something different, and some things that'll do a little bit more for you, or in some cases a lot more for you than the wild edible plants that we've discussed. So until then, take care guys. Appreciate all your views, comments, support as always, and we'll see you soon with another video.